Mashiach, Part 4. The third halacha of the Laws of Kings in chapter 11, the Rambam says, Maimonides, do not think that King Messiah has to do signs and wonders and create new things in the world or enliven the dead and the like. It's not true. For Rabbi Akiva was a great wise man among the Jewish people from the Chachmei HaMishnah. And in fact, the Rambam calls him Chacham Godel, a great wise man, because among the Chachomim of the Mishnah, he was considered the greatest. I mean, there were things that other people could do better than he, quicker than he, but no one studied the Torah more thorough than he, or as clearly as he. In fact, all of the great Tanoim from whom we get the halacha from, all of them were the students of Rabbi Akiva. And so Rabbi Yehuda Hanossi, who redacted the Mishnah, the halacha that he finalized was all from the Torah of Rabbi Akiva. So Rabbi Akiva was familiar with all of the Torah, the written and the oral. And what did he do? He carried the clothing. He served as the valet to Ben Kuziva the king. There was a king who was anointed by the Chachmei HaMishnah, by the scholars of the Mishnah, around the year 130 of the Common Era, and his name was Shimon ben Kuziva. Later on was called Shimon bar Kochva, meaning that he reflected the prophecy that a star, Dorach Koichav Miyakov, a star has tread out from Jacob, and that this was indeed the expectant Mashiach. And Rabbi Akiva said on this Shimon ben Kuziva that he was the Melech HaMashiach, and he and the rest of the scholars of his day thought that this was indeed the Melech HaMashiach, the anointed one that we were waiting for, until Ben Kuziva was killed as a result of sins. Since he was killed, they knew that he was not the Mashiach, and they did not ask him a sign or a wonder. They didn't ask him to tell future events, because the main principle here is as follows, that the Torah's laws and judgments are eternal, forever. We don't add or subtract. And so the whole purpose of the Messianic era is not to create something new, but to restore that which was there before and to bring it to its final conclusion. In other words, the Mashiach will restore the Davidic dynasty, restore the people of Israel to their holy land, restore the temple. And then all of the mitzvahs will be once again enforced. And when people, the Jewish people especially, will perform the mitzvahs, and because the king, as we'll soon see, will have influence upon the whole world, the entire world will follow the rules of the 7 mitzvahs of the sons of Noach, and they will pursue, as well as the Jewish people, the wisdom of the Creator. And so that will bring the fulfillment of those laws, of those mitzvahs, the ultimate purpose of which is the awareness and the manifestation of God. And so the purpose of the Messiah is not to be a miraculous figure. He doesn't have to do any. He doesn't have to split the oceans, to walk on water. He doesn't have to enliven the dead. He merely has to be a king who unifies the people, brings them to Israel, secures Israel's borders, and gets the people to do what they're supposed to do, which is the Torah and the mitzvahs. I know many of you say, but it's this one and that one. As I told you privately, King David was never afraid of anyone. was not afraid of saying what he thought, for he knew that God was with him at all times. The founder of the Christian faith, when confronted whether indeed he was the king of the Jews, said nothing. He should have said, yes, I am, and I'm challenging you. Well, why didn't he say that? And if indeed he is God incarnate, what is he afraid of? All of that indicates a weakness of character. According to Gershon Winkler, based upon testimony of a Kabbalist at the turn of the 20th century, the one that you call Jesus was reincarnated into the soul of Shabtai Tzvi. And Shabtai Tzvi, as well as Jesus, were reincarnated again in the soul of a very troubled youngster in Iraq. And it took a long time till that soul was able to come to peace with itself. The MO, the way in which they conducted their lives, were strikingly parallel. They were incredibly gifted in drawing people to them. People thought that they were a messianic figure, to the point that they thought it themselves. But they had no strength of character that would identify them as the Messiah. When confronted with whether he was going to change religions to becoming a Muslim, or else he would die, Shabtai Tzvi accepted Islam. And of course, it's possible he did so to save his compatriots from pain and suffering. But the very fact that a Messiah would go ahead and violate the tenets of the faith of his fathers does not speak well that these were messianic figures. Obviously, they had some sparks within them, and they were powers that they were given. But no, neither Jesus nor Shabtai Tzvi was Messiah. In fact, they both brought about the negation of the commandments. They both brought about the disheartening of the masses to the possibility of Mashiach coming, and in general caused an immediate downturn in the observance of their fellow Jews. Nor was Jesus from the Davidic dynasty. Those who want to tout what it says in the Gospels, there are two places where it's mentioned in the Gospels. They both contradict each other, contradict the record in the Book of Kings, and are absolutely, totally fabrications. And so, no, they were not from the house of David, and no, they were not the Messiah.